Istanbul isn't well known as a gathering point for refugees, yet there is all the evidence you need that a significant smuggling operation is based here. In the central district of Aksaray, people from all kinds of places. Burkina Faso, Eritrea, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. Nobody wants to tell you much about their plans, but they do spend a lot of time on their phones. All the refugees describe the same thing, how the deal is done in the nearby coffee houses. Smugglers charge up to $2,000. And when day turns to night, some of those smugglers will tell you just how big the trade is.
We do 3 trips a week. There are others working too. There's a trip every day. In Istanbul, there are more than 50 smugglers. We take 40, 50, 60 people a week, it depends. One time, we took 75 people in one trip.
These two, who are Kurdish and Syrian former refugees, used to smuggle people across the Aegean Sea to the Greek islands, but not anymore. This is much better.
Of course, the waves are too big in the sea. We have worked there, and it's too dangerous. It was difficult there. The land route is easier.
The river border is 150 kilometres long. This vast nothingness might feel safer to the traffickers than the sea, but it's still hugely dangerous. On the Greek side, there are forested mountains the refugees call the jungle. There are wild boar and wolves up there. Being eaten is a genuine concern. The smugglers drive the refugees to tiny depopulated villages where they hide out in abandoned buildings. In this hamlet, the farmers said the army had captured refugees each of the last 2 days. This man tried it and failed, his face hidden as he was still in fear of the smugglers.
It's like nothing exists. You're in total darkness. You might be attacked by wild animals in the forest. Anything you can imagine could happen to you. It makes you paranoid. We weren't allowed to put any lights on. We were following the smuggler. We got to the river and they pushed us into a dinghy.
Even in daytime, the wide river valley is treacherous. In the winter, water is everywhere. It wasn't difficult to find signs of life, discarded belongings and supplies. At night time, navigating a path through all this, even before getting to the much wider river, would be terrifying. We had already seen images from the Greek side of those whose attempts to cross had cost them their lives, either from drowning or hypothermia. And everywhere we drove, up and down the river, especially at the places where Greece feels close enough to touch, the Turkish security forces were there, but virtually nobody else. Well, that hill is Greece. The Turkish military say that last year they caught a full 50,000 people trying to cross the border in places like this. That's 1,000 people a week, and it's exactly the same as what the people traffickers told us. Given that, this looks like one of the most important border crossings for refugees from the Middle East trying to get into the European Union. And yet, because it's so bleak and so remote, it seems to have passed everybody by. The Turkish security forces didn't reply to our request to film with them, but the state agency released these dramatic pictures of their soldiers at work, defeating the darkness and capturing a group trying to escape. The European Union too likes to see this sort of thing. It is, after all, the new front line in Europe's battle against the refugees. Laurence, Al Jazeera, on the Turkey-Greece border.